Army.
Welcome into episode 13 of the Bleav in Twins podcast right here on the Bleav Network alongside Zac Tipton. I am Anders Pryor. Zac, how are you doing today? Happy Friday. Twins had an off day
Happy Friday.
yesterday.
Yes, we had an off day yesterday, but me and Anders did not. We were busy working on other podcasts yesterday, so we did not have an off day yesterday. But
Usually it's when the Twins when the Twins go to work, when Rocco goes to work, we go to work, but we were working overtime yesterday.
Yeah, we were, because the NFL season was in full swing. And I'm doing well. Honestly, Anders, I'm actually really happy. I'm good. I went to bed at 9:30 p.m. last night, Anders, which Anders knows is a big deal.
No, Zach's, for those of you, I mean, you guys have probably figured it out, but Zach's over on the West Coast and I'm over here on the East Coast. And so it's kind of, sometimes Zac and I, like when we coordinate, we have to kind of take into account time zones when breaking down our schedule, deciding when of the day we want to do the show. And so whenever it's like 11 o'clock here or whatever, that means it's like 8 where Zac is. And so sometimes I'll like get out of bed and like I'll do my stuff in the morning, and then I get a text from noon being like, "Hey, it's go time." I'm like, "Man, Zac's up early. He's ready to go." And that always takes me by surprise. So
So I went to bed at 9:30 last night. That was amazing. And I slept well. So now I'm up, I'm awake, I'm ready for this. Let's move, Anders. Let's go. I think we got a good show ahead of us. There's some cool storylines kind of talking about today.
Much better baseball mood today.
We actually won a series.
Yep.
That is a dub. But we're gonna start on the NFL side, Anders, I think. And it kind of a sad storyline. Tua Tagovailoa goes down with what seems to be another concussion. And I think it was officially ruled a concussion. So
He got talked up as a concussion through protocol. I want to say, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, this is the third time he's had a concussion
in 2 years.
And I believe this is the second time now where he's had, I forget what the medical name for it is, but it's like the reflexive reaction where your hands kind of go up like this. I forget what
name it is.
There's a name for it, but it's the second time that he's done that now. And now there's kind of, the idea. I kind of think the talk of him retiring, it kind of feels a little. When everyone kind of does it sort of like right away, it can feel a little easy and a little lazy for that to kind of be the ultimatum sort of take there. But we have seen obviously some people from The Athletic advise him, and people, you saw like Tony Gonzalez recommend retirement to him.
Antonio Pierce did too, and he's the head coach of the Raiders.
Said, I would retire. It's not worth it. You have a life ahead of you. Go take care of your family. Make sure that you can be present for them. It kind of, but probably what's going to happen, Zac, is that, I've tried to take a little bit of both perspectives here. Realistically, in 2 or 3 weeks, he's going to be cleared through protocol and he's probably going to play again. And I wish I had some more medical information kind of directly on hand to sort of back this up, but I feel like there is a little bit of a sense, in a lot of this conversation is a little tough because you can't predict the future. Like, last year being his one like fully healthy season. So it's not something that he's completely incapable of, but it kind of feels like there is some damage that he is already obtained that is irreversible, and there's no really, there's nothing to really turn back from. So you might as well just keep doing the thing that you love. Now, the kind of other thing is that he did just sign his contract, so there was a very clear medical motivation for him to continue to play, to set him up for life, set his kids up for life. But now that he signed his contract, the retirement talk was like, hey, you got your money. it can feel, you feel easy, and, you kind of don't want him to, be making, $53 million to be a part-time player. And so there's a lot of, this is a 4 or 5 layer conversation, and none of the layers are pretty or easy. So,
and I do take partial responsibility for this. I'm just kidding. I know I feel bad for Tua, like, completely, but like, it just, the timing of it was so bad because I called Anders like literally a minute before this happened, like a minute and a half, 2 minutes before this happened, and was bragging on the fact that Tua was not having a good game. And then this happens, and I'm like, this is totally my fault. But no, it was, I feel for Tua, man. I'm not a fan of Tua. Like, I don't think he's a good player. But I do respect him. I hate to see injuries like this. And obviously, Tua's well-being is what matters most here.
Yeah.
And so for me personally, like, 3 really bad concussions in 2 years is something you retire with. Like to me, I think of it as like, if you look at Andrew Luck, right? Andrew Luck dealt with, he was in the prime of his game. He just won comeback player of the year. And he decided, I'm going to hang it up. He's got his contract. He said, I'm going to hang it up because his injuries were too much. He didn't really what he wanted. He knew he had a life ahead of him. Tua was in that similar boat where he's been getting injured a lot. He's barely really played except for last year. Last year he finally did make a full season, but to have this happen right away this year again, and now the talks are back up, there's a legitimate case for it. I think I understand wanting to go get the money last time, but this time you gotta keep that health, and you have a family there that cares about you. You have a life ahead of you. I personally think Tua probably should hang it up and call it a career here. But knowing him, I'm guessing he probably won't. And I'm sure he plays in a few weeks when he's back.
Yeah.
But this is still a scary situation. I don't like it.
Concussions are there, that it's kind of difficult because it's not like Olympic athletes where, like, you break your leg once and you're done, right? Like it's not, it's less binary than that. So it's kind of hard to sort of gauge like how many concussions it would need, and like what the severity is, and like what the relationship between all of that is. And so that kind of makes the decision a little bit more kind of enigmatic of a medical process. If he came out and said, like, he's his own guy, and like I think he's put up now a lot of really impressive numbers in his season, and he's demonstrated himself as an extremely universally liked, from a personality standpoint, a very universally liked human being. If he came out and said, I want to keep playing, I would support that. I wouldn't be like, oh no, like I disagree. Like right now, we can talk about like, oh, like advising him to do whatever, like what Pierce was doing and what Gonzalez was doing, right? Like where right now he is in limbo.
But this is his decision.
Don't know. Yeah, we don't know what the decision is yet. And so there's more kind of acceptable room for advice. But if he makes his decision, then you either have to support his decision, where I do like Tua. So if he wanted to continue playing, I would understand that and support it. If he wanted to retire, I would understand and support that as well. But I would be very interested to see if he does keep playing, like, but not just being cleared in 2 weeks, but then also like making an official statement like about his long-term future. The people that in the past 24 hours have been like, I don't know, I don't agree with it. If they're like, oh, I think he's making a wrong decision. So that'll be something that's interesting to watch.
Yeah, no, I don't know. It is tough, but yeah, no, I agree. I mean, like I said, I've never truly believed in Tua, the football player, but I do believe in him as a human being, and I believe that he is a great guy. And I Bleav that, he'll make the decision that's best for him. But, it is scary, and CTE is real. CTE is real.
Right.
And so many head injuries in a short time is not healthy, and it's not good.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think somebody he really does need to actually think about this. Tua really does need to consider this and actually think about the long-term future of this, because he might be a guy that wants to go immediately get back out there and play again, but he really should think about the future at this point. And yeah, so that's that. It sucks, and it's really hard, but
I am now, so Tua's contract, it's and just for curiosity, to hammer in the point where the finances are not really a part of this anymore. His contract is $212 million. $167 million of that is guaranteed. So if he were to retire today, he'd only be losing out on about something in the vicinity of like $40 million. So 40 to 45 million bucks, which is obviously a lot of money, but if he wants to call it in and set himself up, he has the groundwork to do that in a way where 365 days ago he didn't. So yeah, no, he's if he wants to hang it up, I get it, but if he wants to keep playing, I'll support him on the show, moving forward. I'll support him in that, and won't be I think he's making a wrong decision, because I do think that there are benefits to playing again, both, and that's an extra $45 million of unguaranteed money to earn, and he's doing what he loves, and that's a process that starts when you're 10 years old, and you don't want to take that from someone unless it's on their own volition, or unless you absolutely have to. And I don't think it has really reached that case, because he probably will be cleared in 2 to 3 weeks. So, so we'll see. But so
that was a crazy start to week one. But I will say, before the injury, Tua looked bad, and I've always said this, and I hate saying this now that he's hurt, but I'm going to have to keep a little unbiased here and say this. I have always said Tua Tagovailoa is Daniel Jones with weapons, with legitimate weapons. And I think if you put Tua in the Giants offense, Tua has the same career as Daniel Jones. And that's my opinion. I know Anders won't agree with that.
Yeah, I don't think that Daniel Jones is cerebral enough to digest and execute the Mike McDaniel offense.
Fair.
There's a reason that Tua was at Alabama and Daniel Jones was at Duke.
That's fair.
I think that's aged pretty well. Colin Cowherd's infamous, he looks like a guy who played at Duke, take has aged pretty gracefully. I think
that's funny. That's kind of funny, actually.
But so not as fun and lively. I know our usually our kind of pre-baseball segment for the show was a little bit more lively and fun, and me and Zach just kind of going back and forth. But we wanted to make sure that we talked about this with diligence and everything. So
yeah, I think, and obviously, although I will say we do talk a lot more about fun stuff in the NFL and week one and stuff like that.
Yep.
We talk about that in our other podcasts. The Nerds Ruined Sports. Go check it out on YouTube.
Yep.
Link will be in the description to that. Go check it out. It's really a cool podcast that we do, and we're talking about week one, and we went over college football week 2 and stuff as well. So it'll be fun. It's a really good show. Go check that one out if you want to learn more about kind of what we do. Other than that, we will jump into the baseball stuff here. Usually we have a non-Twins baseball baseball portion of this show, but there isn't a ton of news this week in terms of non-Twins baseball, and so we went with recently, as of yesterday, a really interesting story came out in the Twins organization that I thought, since this is a Twins podcast, we probably should discuss. Most Twins fans have probably seen this at this point, but Derek Bender, 6th-round pick in this year's draft, a catcher out of Coastal Carolina, was cut this past yesterday after reports that he had been tipping pitches to opposing players in the Fort Myers Mighty Muscles game that costed the team the playoffs, physically eliminated them from the playoffs. Basically, he had been telling opposing players what pitches were coming, because in the locker room before the game, he was telling teammates he wanted the season to be over. And so he really costed himself probably his entire career with that move. And he got caught because opposing players were telling the coaches that this was happening. And then the coaches went over to the Fort Myers Mighty Muscles coaches and told them this was happening after the game. And that is how it happened. And this was during Ross Dunn's start, where Ross Dunn allowed 4 runs in the second inning. And it's kind of sucks because Ross Dunn actually is a pretty interesting prospect for the Twins. So for this to happen to him, it kind of ruins his ERA and stuff like that. But so it kind of sucks for him as well. But Derek Bender was cut, which kind of sucks because he was a promising young prospect for us, especially at the catcher position, where we do not have a ton of prospects. Bender was kind of a guy there that kind of looked like he had a chance of being a really cool piece for us. But now he's officially cut. Anders, I don't know if you've seen this story at all, if you've heard of this, but your thoughts on the situation? Do you have any thoughts at all?
I was not familiar with this until you brought this sort of to me. A lot. Usually we've seen iterations of this before. Obviously, a lot of it either has to do with there like some sort of like sabotage that involves a layer of maybe like there's some gambling debt involved, or that's more common for the major league level, of course. And so they're grown adults, they have like more going on in their lives, but something like this, a promising career sort of being ruined on the basis of just boredom and laziness, and Inui just kind of boredom basically with the season, or for whatever reason that kind of sucks. And I thought that his career is probably done there, because he's a minor leaguer. The leverage is very minimal. So it's kind of sad and just sort of right.
Yeah, no. I mean, it is crazy. I mean, he's it's interesting. I mean, this guy was, he was a promising prospect, and we paid him, $279,500 in signing bonus to sign with us.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, I don't. It's unfortunate. Obviously, when a promising prospect does that, it is really unfortunate. And he made a mistake, but unfortunately, it's going to probably cost him his career, because that's something you just can't do in baseball. That is, although I did see a funny tweet that was like breaking: the Houston Astros are signing Twins minor league catcher, former minor league pitcher Derek Bender. But no, it's
he was, and I have here on the Daily Mail. Yeah, unit on the head, 297,500 was his bonus, and he's probably going to keep the whole thing despite being cut. Which
is the signing bonus you kind of get guaranteed.
Yeah, which doesn't feel right, but what can you do? But
and you really can't. You have to do it. It's unfortunate, but you know, I hope he got what he wanted, which was for the season to be over.
Yeah.
And I mean,
you got what you wanted in the end, right?
I mean, yeah. So,
but let's get into non-cheating Twins baseball, real baseball.
Yes, let's get into real baseball. I like that. I like that.
Actual sports, not with no hopefully no tipping. That'd be bad timing for right now. That wouldn't be good.
Yeah. No, I mean, yeah, I mean that is, yeah, I mean honestly, but yeah, no, it's crazy, man. It's Anyway, that's that. We'll move on to non-cheating Twins baseball news, which includes
honest. Let's talk about some honest Twins baseball.
Exactly, honest Twins baseball. Although there is a case that some of the Twins pitchers might be trying to cheat and sell the season also. But at this point, no.
Twins grabbed 2 out of 3 against the Los Angeles Angels. Zach and I both called for the sweep, losing game 1. And we, just breaking this down game by game. David Festa, I thought outside of the, sort of weird 2-run first inning that he had was overall fine, but had some efficiency numbers that at the very start of his major league career were sort of out of whack. And then I think even though he wasn't going an insane amount of insanely long distances in games, those of the efficiency started to get there. And I feel like here he kind of just you missed it a little bit. Only I believe it was 4 innings flat, and 4 innings flat, 4 hits, 4 earned runs, 4 strikeouts, and 3 walks. I thought outside of that inning, I thought from an eye test perspective, he was out fine. He obviously having the ERA inflated by the 2 home run shot from Drury. I believe it was from Drury. And he gave what he could given the circumstances. Definitely one of his less exciting starts, but then Enriquez, getting his age showing, just letting up way too much power. In I want to say, was it the 6th inning?
The 6th inning, he allowed a 2-run homer.
Just gave up too much power, and game kind of got out of hand going forward. So very kind of not even unfortunate necessarily, but very kind of unexciting pitching starter and bullpen to lose game 1. Zach, your thoughts on Festa?
Yeah, I mean, it was unfortunate. It was not a great outing from him. I was kind of hoping for more from him, but he kind of got hit a little hard early. And that home run in the 3rd was not great either. It was unfortunate. I thought Henriquez has done a pretty solid job for us for a while. Unfortunately, he allowed that 2-run homer there, but we weren't really scoring runs anyway, so it wasn't like we had much of a shot at that point either. We couldn't really score runs at all. And we haven't really been able to score runs at all either. But we are kind of. But that was the worst game of our stretch there. And, after Jose Suarez destroyed us in that game, Reed Detmers and Jose Suarez might have destroyed us in that game. We settled back down and took care of business in our next couple.
Those next 2 wins were important because, you and I had kind of anointed over the past 2 weeks on the show that Festa really had established himself as the number 3 starter. So when you see someone who has been so reliable just suddenly not be, and kind of just have this really sort of flat, short, not efficient 4-run start, it's like, oh man, like, are we really, we're in September 13th and we have a two-man rotation disguised as a 5-man rotation. So the two wins that came after were very important, because if we didn't win the series, not only would it be a series loss, but there would have felt a little bit of straining there.
100%.
But game 2, most exciting game I thought of the series. Pablo Lopez just continues to find ways to be, frankly, an argument for the best baseball player, regardless of position on the team. And
100%.
Just another, to use a sort of informal phrase, God mode start.
Which is crazy considering 4 runs were allowed on his watch, but none of them were earned. That is kind of crazy to look at because you don't see that often. That is a really weird stat to see.
7 innings, 8 hits, 0 earned runs, 10 Ks, 105 total pitches, 70 strikes. Just really sensational stuff there. Zach, I think I might have a graph for us that has to do with Pablo, but I want
my thoughts quick.
Yes.
Yeah, no, Pablo's been incredible. Pablo's been awesome. That was a huge start for Pablo. I was loving it. I'm actually kind of shocked they left him in that 7th inning as long as they did, because he gave up like 2 hits in the 7th, and he had like 100 pitches. I'm like, how they're keeping him in? They're letting him go, which I love to see. We'd love to see that from Pablo. Obviously, oh no.
Uh-oh.
Oh no. That's unfortunate.
That's not good.
1 second. Let me see if I can fix this here. Give me. Oh, yeah, there we go. We're almost coming back in.
Wait. Give it to me. Bring it home.
Oh my God, can we do it?
Round 3rd.
Oh my God, it's not going to come back, is it? It's not coming back.
Oh.
There we go.
There we go.
Okay. So yeah, Pablo's awesome. The offense, obviously, we'll talk about the offense here in a bit, but the offense was, absolutely incredible. Matt Wallner's been a really, really, really big piece for us recently. His ability to hit the ball as far as humanly possible, while also having probably one of the strongest arms in baseball, is really fun to watch. And so Matt Wallner's, there's a lot of credit for how he's kind of kept things afloat. But yes, I want to see this graph, Anders.
So this is a really interesting chart here. So this is baseball.
Where did you find this chart here?
This is Baseball Savant. So this is Pablo Lopez's kind of like pitch velocity and frequency. This is his distributions, right? And so I didn't grab the placement ones, but if you look at the op and see here, so obviously the most bold line is his most recent season. That's this season. And if you look at like the velocity of let's break this down. Obviously speed is along here, so you see the 100 here, and then obviously frequency of speed in terms of how, when he throws that pitch at that speed, how often does he throw it at that speed? And so even just, in his time, right, being like really like with the Twins, right? If you look at right here, if you see, I'm not sure if you guys can see my mouse. Can you guys see my mouse?
We can't see your mouse. We can't see your mouse.
Okay, so then maybe but if you look at the most recent kind of curvature for this season on the 4-seam fastball, which is the red, if you look just under it, there's that slight tint shift in red. That's last year. That's his most recent. And so if you look at it, the peak of his fastball in terms of consistency of just the speed that he throws, the 95 is kind of, if you look at the bell curve, that's kind of the average sort of, that like peak speed of where he's going. But then if you just keep going to the right, the kind of as the bell curve moves faster, the stuff that's beyond 95 miles an hour is all becoming more frequent, right?
Yeah.
Like you see,
If you look at the graph, you can see that like in previous seasons, 95 was like his max velocity for a lot of these.
But even so last year was when 95, like that was like, so he obviously, and you look at those like previous ones, and I know the colors, it's hard to sort of describe this without having my mouse available for you guys, but the peak now of 95, it's there, and he's kind of solidified at that, and he's kept it. Because if you look at some of those other kind of visuals, the higher peaks have sacrificed in terms of the range of how frequent he can go faster than that on the bell curve, kind of get sacrificed a little bit. But so just from 2023 to 2024 is really interesting, because he's going, the 95 peak is sort of stabilized, but and even the stuff behind that is very stable as well, going year to year. But everything beyond that, 96, 7, 8, 9, etc., is all more frequent. Even if it's just by a little, it's all net positive. And so that was a really interesting, that was a really, yes, thank you. That was a really interesting kind of thing that I saw, where and there's some shape metrics that I forgot to pull, unfortunately. But
that was interesting to look through. But
the placement of where he's getting these with, like he's getting a lot of all his stuff essentially on in the sort of like the shadows of the zone. Like that's where a lot of he gets some shadow stuff. Not a huge chase pitcher. That's not really who he is. But like his sinkers. He gets, when he gets strikeouts with like his sinkers, like he gets, they clip the zone, right? They're not really chase. He's not getting guys to chase it. He kind of catches guys if you look at the placement stuff. But in terms of the velocity there and the sinker, a lot of the principles that I said for the fastball kind of apply to the sinker too, but I use the fastball because it's the most stark difference. And it also is just like the easiest to see because it's the biggest on that graphic. But like you can see like exactly how like the fastball and the sinker, you can see exactly how he uses them and where he's using them. It's incredibly consistent and incredibly effective. And on top of that, for the four-seamer specifically, the average velocity is right where it was last year, and he's getting some push on the faster side. So there's some really cool metrics that I can try to, that I can remember to bring in for other pitchers in future episodes. But there's a lot of really cool data to show how awesome all of these like 7-inning, 8 strikeout, 9 strikeout starts for him actually are. It's really impressive.
Absolutely. No, I agree. No, what he's been doing, and obviously was kind of expected, Pablo, although this year is a little scary for sure. He's proving why Wynn's kind of trusting to be that opening day starter, that game 1 starter. I think there definitely is a case for possible Bleav to be game 1 starter this year, but I'm assuming we'll probably go to Pablo just because Pablo's been there before.
Yeah.
But Pablo Lopez Bleav is a great one too, and you really can't tell me otherwise. If you throw in Joe Ryan when we get Joe Ryan healthy next year, that's a great 1, 2, 3. That's a fantastic 1, 2, 3 pitchers. And if in the next year, Zebby, David Festa, and Samuel Richardson, those 3 together can like improve themselves and get better and and actually figure out like how to pitch in the majors on a consistent basis, we're looking at a really good rotation for a long time.
Yeah. Bleav has kind of graduated from sneaky good territory to just good.
Yeah.
Like he used to be, I feel like and I was like guilty of this. Like, he used to be sort of this like smart guy under the radar, like kind of pending breakout person with a lot of really kind of exciting underlying metrics. And so he was like a smart guy pick in terms of like, under the radar, good pitchers. Now, the longer he's pitched this year, you don't really need a lot of advanced stuff. Like you kind of just look at him and look at his box score and watch it, and it's all kind of really now coming into a fully fleshed out start to finish above average season. And so it's really rewarding to see that come for him.
Yeah, no, I agree. And also just the offense, man. That offense on that game that Pablo pitched, we didn't really talk about that much yet, but I mean, 9 runs off of Griffin Canning. What is incredible. I don't know the exact, it was 9 earned runs, 10 runs, but 9 earned.
9.
9 earned runs, 10 runs on 9 hits. So basically everybody that got a hit scored. And then 5.2 innings pitched in 5.2 innings. Just really good outing by the Twins offense. Matt Wallner with another homer. Kyle Farmer with that big 3-run homer in the first. Ryan Jeffers had a sacrifice fly and a 2-run single. And then Carlos Santana hit a double and hit a 2-run homer. And then Matt Wallner hit another 2-run double in the sixth. So, am I surprised Canning was up in that late? Not really. It's kind of what they do. And honestly, shout out to Louis Varland for kind of taking over the bullpen role in that game. He took over for Pablo and finished the last 2 innings for him. He did a little run in the 9th, but I thought he looked fantastic. He hit 101, which I didn't know Louis Varland could do, but Louis Varland hit 101 in his relief appearance, which was fantastic to see. And I like Louis Varland out of the bullpen a lot more than I like him as a starter at this point in his career.
I agree.
And so that was that. And then we go to game 3, which was one of my favorite games of the year. One of my favorite games of the year for sure. We were this close to a 6th Royce Lewis grand slam. It was literally, it hit the padding in front of the wall, which is so annoying because it was literally an inch away from being a grand slam, which would have been so cool. But again, the Twins were, I don't remember, they were tied, I think. I think they were tied at that point. With them, it was like 3-3. And then Royce Lewis hits a 3-run homer to blow it open. Oh no.
Uh-oh.
Oh, not again.
I have a siren outside, so we're both in some trouble. That's not good.
Oh, is it going to come back? Is it going to come back? I really hope it does.
Oh, you're close. Oh, no, then it went back.
And then I'm going to get close to the camera and hope it works. Jesus Christ.
The crowd watches.
I'm watching also. It's just not working. Dude, I don't know what's happening. Back up a bit. Oh, it's coming back a bit.
They spectate. He shoots. He misses. He rebounds.
I'm just gonna talk. It's gonna be blurry. I'm sorry, but it'll come back here eventually. I don't know what's going on with my camera
today. Back up to you a little bit. I don't know, because so that way we can kind of same sort of headspace angle. Yeah, there we go. Much better.
Hopefully it comes back.
Yeah.
Eventually here, but right now, Royce. Yeah, and the Twins were down. We had 3-3.
Shout out. Shout out. Shout out Brooks Lee breaking 0 for 19.
With a 2-run double. Yeah.
2-run double. Yeah, no, really, really good way.
So it would have been 4-3. Yeah, it would have been 4-3. So 4-3 was the score. We scored 2 in the 7th, in the 6th, the 7th, whatever it was. In the 7th with a Royce Lewis double that was so close to being a grand slam. Everyone thought it was a grand slam. He rounded the whole bases like it was a grand slam. he got into the leg on high five his teammates like it was a grand slam, and then it was ruled a double and he had to go back out. But which is unfortunate, obviously. But then Griffin Jax comes in, goes 2 innings, which is why I'm making Griffin Jax our bullpen reliever of the series. 2 innings, no earned runs, 3 strikeouts on 9-11, which was also wasn't it was 9-11.
Yeah, that was
9-11, which was kind of cool because his 2 brothers, were part of the flyover. On 9/11 because both his brothers are fighter pilots as well, like Captain Jax, as we like to call him. And then no, his brother's fighter pilots at the flyover, and then his brother flew throughout the first pitch as well. So it was a really cool moment for the Jax family, a really cool time. Again, this blurry has not gone away. Usually it's better right now. I don't know what's going on. I'm gonna turn this off and see if that works. Maybe no. Not gonna happen. This camera is being really rude to me today.
Crowd continues to wait in anticipation.
Yeah, I know, right? I'm continuing to wait in anticipation. I don't know what's going on with my camera right now. It's really annoying.
Let's talk about Zebby, because I know that we say this is a Twins podcast, but this is really kind of just a Zebby Matthews podcast. But a very sort of strange start, and I thought obviously it was not his worst start of the season. Definitely, I think his most kind of unusual. Oh, wait.
I'm trying to fix it. 1 second.
You're a little less blurry now than you were a second ago.
Yeah, I know. It's not because of that. It's because no, I'm back. Oh my God. It just came out of nowhere.
And he shoots, he scores, and the crowd goes wild.
Yeah, I know. But
so
you're back.
Yeah, so Zebby, obviously 3.1 innings, 5 hits, 2 runs, both earned, 2 walks, 5 strikeouts, 2 home runs, 61 pitches. You mentioned Zach. Obviously, he walked a guy and then got taken out. It really, even though he had not allowed up, 2 runs in 3 innings, that's not the end of the world, but it really did sort of, and you tell me if I'm totally just speculating here, it did kind of feel like, even though he hadn't allowed too many runs, he only threw 60 whatever, 50 whatever pitches, like up until that walk, like it felt like Rocco was almost scared to leave him in there because he had just been battling through so much unnecessary stuff just to get through those 3 innings, where it was like, oh man, I
would agree with that. I'd also say I'm guessing it has something to do with like maybe it was like maybe they're going through like the second time through the order, or they're getting to the first time through the order, and Rocco saw something. I don't know who the last batter was when Zebby came out of the game. I can look that up quick. Let me look it up quick. Zebby came out of the game when Nico Cavadas walked. And Nico Cavadas was their 8th hitter. So my guess was Rocco was like, okay, this is 2 times through the order. Let's take him out and not let him see the Taylor Ward a 3rd time, basically. Taylor Ward or Zach Neto a 3rd time. Which I'm wondering if that's what they're going to do from now on. I'm wondering if Zebby Matthews, kind of similar to what Samuel Woods Richardson's kind of become, is like a 2-time through the order guy. You get 2 times through the order, and after that, we're taking you out. And I'm wondering if that's the kind of make Zebby turn into, which would kind of be weird, but I understand at this point, you don't want to risk anything. And also, yeah. So that's Zebby. I agree. I honestly was not able to watch this start because it was Sunday, and I was actually – no, it was not Sunday. It was – what day was it? Was this Wednesday? This was Wednesday, not Sunday. Why did I say it was Wednesday, and I was at church group, so I was not able to watch this start. But it was disappointing for sure. But what can you do?
Doesn't it feel like I know we love Zebby. Doesn't it feel like every start that he has feels weird to watch? Like,
Yeah.
don't all of his, for whether it's always a little bit of a different reason every time, but don't all of his starts feel kind of difficult more difficult than they need to be?
Yep, 100%.
Like, I know that you had mentioned, there's some, obviously, like the command stuff, you and I were both really excited about that when he got called up. But he just has these like really sort of bizarre, and it's a little different every time. But I think, honestly, I think we're at a point now. I got to check how many starts he's recorded now, but it honestly does kind of feel like his most kind of, normal is a little bit enigmatic of a word. We'll use the phrase complete. His most complete start was his first.
Yeah.
I feel pretty comfortable saying it's something different every time. But but yeah, and you get the win, so you feel a little better. But I feel like I feel like if it was Festa or even Woods Richardson who were in that exact same situation, they would have been able to they would be left in after the Cavallo swap. I thought
Yes.
that's
I agree. I do think it was a third time through the order kind of thing.
Mm.
Because it was the third time through the order after that. So the Anders, let's move on here. We have 15 minutes left of this. Anders, we're going into another crucial series, in my opinion, where we kind of have to win the series to really be in good shape. Because one of our last kind of easier series of the year before we kind of have some harder series coming up. We had the Reds, Anders, and not the Red Sox, the Reds. What are your thoughts right here on the Reds and just looking at the series ahead? What do you think the Twins' chances are of winning this series?
Yeah, I mean, I would say pretty high. I mean, the Reds are kind of strange, right? Like they were kind of chalked up as sort of like a kind of a trendy kind of playoff pick after kind of sort of falling short last year. David Bell was my pick for manager of the year, but obviously, having battled a lot of sort of unfortunate injuries, obviously very early Mac McLean, Stewart, and then as of recently, Eimer Candelario, Stuart Fairchild have been, sort of up and out. Ashcraft has been on IL. Abbott has been on IL. Those were two guys that I really, really liked coming into the year. So they're just kind of depleted. And Ellie De La Cruz had a good season, but he hasn't taken that sort of next step or even half step from last year. And so they've kind of, when a team's trendy, you kind of want them to go from trendy to sort of a little bit more solidified. I feel like they're still sort of in that trendy space. So I just think if you look at the pitching matchups, you get Ober, Woods, Richardson, and Festa, who I'm sure will be better. And so I don't at the moment, if you just look at the averages and the walk rates, obviously stolen bases is a problem. That's their signature. That sort of just exists for them.
Well, I will admit, though, the Twins have been very good versus stolen bases. Specifically, Christian Vasquez has been very good against stolen bases. Do I think that's going to stop Ellie De La Cruz from stealing like 5 bases in a series? Probably not. But Christian Vasquez has been very good at stopping the stolen bases.
No, but yeah, I mean, for average, they're ranked 26. OPS, they're ranked 21st. They're ranked 15th. They're 14th in home runs, which, Great American Ballpark, that's a very power-friendly ballpark. So, you'd like to see those numbers up a little bit. I know that our roster is geared towards some more kind of high average guys, but you'd like to see a little bit more kind of out of the park slugging. But from a matchup standpoint, I mean, well, Ober, I think at this point, you and I would both have kind of chalked up as a win against until further on. It's all Julian Aguilar, nothing super special there. Woods Richardson against Nick Martinez. Martinez has had, overall pretty solid year. To me, that's kind of the sort of 50-50 game. I think in the series that, can go either way. Excuse me. Martinez does not strike people out. And so I feel like he's very jam prone. So I feel like for that start, some discipline at the top of the order is going to be really, really, really crucial. Obviously, you want to see something, maybe I'm getting scatterbrained here. Excuse me. But the big thing, the thing I do want to talk about, and I know that you want to talk about, Zach, is Rhett Lauder, who I think you and I are both going to pick 2 out of 3 here, because Rhett Lauder, even if Festa does kind of come back a little bit, Rhett Lauder, I'm a huge fan of Rhett Lauder. I'm very public on that. Killer past few starts, just really effective. Strikeout numbers not quite what you want, but just super efficient, which is really exciting to see.
Yeah, no, I was looking at this guy when I saw, I think the first 2 games we can win. I think the key matchup here will be the Nick Martinez versus Simon Woods Richardson starting game 2, because I believe that Over will win tonight, and I believe that Rhett Lauder will probably win on Sunday. However, Saturday is what's different.
Saturday. Yeah, that's the Saturday's that's the make or break game for this, I think.
Saturday's make or break day. So I think at this point, I think that's kind of the key matchup. I like Nick Martinez, but I think Simon Richardson just needs to have a start, and I trust the Twins offense to win that game. So I'm gonna say Twins win 2 of 3, with winning the first 2 and losing the Lauder game 3. Which, if that's the case, we can't be upset about, because Lauder has been great. However, I would love to get to Lauder in game 3. I would love to do that, but I think Lauder's just so good.
The Martinez is, I feel, if you look at a lot of his underlying stuff, does not strike people out at all, really. He it's hard to hit him hard, but if he's not getting pop outs, fly outs, he can get himself a little bit jammed. So, like Jose Miranda and up, like that real top 4, I want to see some walks. Like that's kind of, I'm expecting a ton of, even in Great American, not expecting a ton of power, but if we can get a couple 2 guys on base with 1 out, that's the kind of situation that Martinez really struggles with. So I really, that will be, I think, really important. And Woods Richardson, I do like this spot from him. Again, doesn't really give up a ton of power, which in this ballpark, I think that works to his advantage. So I'm going to go 2 out of 3 here, losing the start against Lauder, winning the first 2.
Yeah, I agree. With that, Anders, I mean, I think we're pretty much complete. We have a few minutes. If you have anything else you want to talk about, for the most part, I think we're pretty much set.
I don't think so. I mean, Rhett Lauder's killer.
Rhett Lauder's insane. I will say, Walker Jenkins is in Double A. I think he's made a couple starts. I've actually been able to see how he's done in his first couple starts at Double A. But Walker Jenkins is in Double A now. I talked about that, I think, on the last show. Oh, obvious stuff we forgot to bring up that I can't believe we forgot to bring up. I don't know why I forgot about this. I'm so sorry. Byron Buxton is back.
Yes.
This is a really kind of big piece of information I think we forgot to completely include. Byron Buxton is back. He is officially off the IL. I'm thinking in football terms, I said IR instead of IL. Austin Martin was sent down, which is sad to see. Obviously, you never like to see Austin Martin be sent down, but he was. Austin Martin was sent down for that, and I believe also there's another couple of moves the Twins made. Let me make sure I got that on record so I know. Or winning. The Twins are wearing their City Connects tonight. That'll be really nice to see. Let's see if I can find it. It's yes. Christian Vasquez was reinstated from the paternity list, and Manny Margot was brought back as well. So we got Manny Margot and Christian Vasquez back, while both Jair Camargo and Michael Hellman were optioned. And then so that is that for the moves. And I would assume that Carlos Correa actually isn't as far behind as we think. I think Carlos Correa could be back in the next week or so, which could be huge for us if he can get him back. They took live ABs today, so hopefully Carlos Correa. Yeah. So no, I don't know. We'll see, but I'm excited for Carlos Correa. And I'm excited to have him back.
Yeah. No, really. Buxton's huge. Correa, I am excited to see. Yeah, no, that's sort of been a very frustrating sort of informationless process where we're just kind of sitting here and waiting for updates, and then the update is that there is no update. So in the past week, in the past week, we've gotten some more kind of tangible, real sort of info. And so hopefully by the end of the month, we see him take swings in the majors. But I don't have anything else, Zach.
I don't know. I think we could sign off.
Oh, well, I guess real quick before the sign off, did you have a Jordan Addison comment, or am I making that up?
No, I'm not. Well, Jordan Addison is out, but I did not have that as a comment. No, but it is sad. But Jalen Naylor looked like a good wide receiver too last week, and I think Brandon Powell or Tristan Jackson will get a chance as well, just to make the jump as well. So sad to see Addison out. I assume he'll be back next week. I assume it's like a 1 week injury that he's out this week. He'll be back next. But and my fantasy teams are going to struggle for a little bit this week. But other than that, we should be good. Yeah, no, that's all I got for you.
Yeah, no, I don't have anything. I don't have any more information. I don't have any more talking points, and I don't have any Vikings on either of my fantasy teams. So I'm set.
We can boo him later.
Yeah.
Minnesota Nation.
Yeah. No, you can grab it there.
Has no Vikings on his roster, but thinks Tua Tagovailoa is a good QB.
Yeah.
That tells you what we think. No. But yes. Well, we can just sign off here, Anders. This was a solid, great. Hey, everyone, this was a great time. Again, our other podcast, The Nerds in Sports, where we actually talk about more NFL stuff, is on YouTube. And we just posted our second episode of our second season, or episode 8, as it possibly is called. And we just posted that yesterday. So go check it out. Link is in the description, as well as follow our Twitters, specifically my Twitter, because I'm very active on Twitter and I like to post a lot of Twins content. So please follow that. That will also be down in the description as well. Other than that, I'm sending to Anders for the sign off.
Yep. Great. Yeah. Great shout out. Yeah. Nerds Ruin Sports. Go check that out. Back-to-back days, back-to-back episodes. really, really active week. When Rocco goes to work, we go to work, and we'll even work overtime if we feel like it.
Yes.
This has been episode 13 of the Bleav in Twins podcast on the Bleav Network. Alongside Zac Tipton, I have been Anders Pryor. You can tune in to our show on Bleav and all other Bleav content on the Bleav.com website. You can listen to our content throughout the week on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and wherever else you get your audio sports media. If you are watching us here on YouTube, please subscribe, turn on post notifications so you know when Zac and I post content on Mondays and alternating Thursdays and Fridays. Go Twins, go Vikings, I guess. Sure, why not? And we will see you guys on Monday. Zac, great to see you as always. Enjoy your weekend. We'll see you soon.
Okay. Thank you, Anders. It's always a pleasure. And we will see you guys all on Monday or Tuesday. If we go shift, Twins have an off day. I don't think they do. So I think it's probably a Monday.
Yep.
But we will talk to you then.
Talk to you then, guys. See ya.
See ya.